G'day, how you going? I'm Ianapolis, your acrylic guru from Australia. Welcome to my video. Before we get started, I'll just put the size of the canvas up there and also some colours running up the screen. That way you can write them down, watch the video a couple of times, see what's going to happen, and if you want to paint along, play and pause and paint along with me, alright? That's what these videos are designed for. And that notice at the beginning of the video, it doesn't mean don't copy the painting. You can copy the painting, it's a tutorial. That's what it's all about. It just means don't copy the video file and upload it somewhere else as your content, okay? The video file is mine, it belongs to me. Going to do a bit of an island out in the middle of the tropical water here. Beautiful sky, some greenery, some sand, and some simple but effective water. All right, so come on over here and we'll get right into it. Now I've got my canvas, I'm using canvas cloth. It's already been primed from the shop and I'm ready to do what I'm going to do on it, so I'll show you. I've got it in the landscape layout, which is long ways for those people who don't know, and when something's up that way it's a portrait layout. So we're going to this landscape layout and I want to get the sky done first. Now I've taped up the horizon line and a bit of the bushes and shrubs that are going to be on our sandy island. You can see where the sandy island's going to be, okay? So I want to get this sky ready. How do we do that? I'm going to bloody show you, and it's so easy, you can do it. Now I'm using craft paint. Watch how soft this is. Look at it. It's a bit like gesso, but it's not flat like gesso. It's got a bit of a sheen to it. That'll do for now. And I want to put some retarder in there. Retarder is a medium that'll slow down the drying time of acrylic paints. So we'll get this about that much. There we go. I just pretend I'm a mad scientist and that's what I reckon. Got a pretty good idea. It's a nice hot dry day here, so I need a bit in there. Work out what your climate is to how much retarder you want to add with this. Now I only put it in this paint. I don't put it in all the other colours where I'm scrumbling and blending and just painting wet on wet. So I'll get that sky done. So just get it all pushed into the tooth of your canvas. Now if you're using canvas paper, it still works on canvas paper, but you do get a better finish on canvas cloth, stretch canvas or canvas cloth. Now I've got it all in there. You've seen me do this left and right and pushing it in and out. Now stroke it left and right with the horizon line and I'll get a nice sky colour on there and some beautiful bullshit clouds, okay? Now I want the blue for me sky, and I want the blue a different temperament than the ocean blue. So I'm going to have the cerulean blue, and I've got grey here, but I'm going to have it like a very grey blue. So I'll shade it, tint it, or tone it with the grey. I forget which one it is. White tints the paint. I think the black shades it and the grey tones it by memory. Be a bit more bluer than that, so I'm just getting the blue I want, and once it hits that white it's going to become lighter as well. There we go, get it all across there. Now I'm crisscrossing it, pushing it into the canvas, push it in, get it all there. Don't try and paint it and you're getting lumps, see pockets that are missing out. That's why you push it in, and once you've done all that, then you can stroke it left and right, and you know everywhere's covered 100%. All right. Now we'll get the horizon a little bit dull. So I'm picking up some more of that craft white, just to get the horizon lighter. I'll push that into that paint and then gradually blend it up. Push it in, get it reasonably thin. It's not big, thick and gluggy. And what that does, it's creating the sphere shape in the sky. Now I have my craft white out of the tube. It's not that craft paint. This is proper titanium white in a tube. And I've got some grey there as well. So I want to get me clouds stamped on. So I think I'll come along here, I'll give one out here a bottom. I'll come along and dance the bottom in like that, pick up some more, and then I'll give it, let's come right off the painting, eh? Then I'll give it some kind of body shape, footprint, all the way up there. I'm stamping it on, I'm not grinding it into that paint on the sky there. go, just like that. We've got bits of blue in the middle of that. Now it's important when you've got your blending brush to keep wiping it. I want to create the bum of that cloud, so pretty much flat and blend it up. Flat and blend it up into the body of that cloud. Like that. Wipe your brush as you go. And get turmoil within your cloud. Tickle the tops a bit, twist that and get turmoil come right off the painting there. There we go. That way we've got blue and white within that footprint of a white cloud that we've painted on there, okay? Up here, get it up there. Find those billowing puffs of whatever is in your cloud, because we're going to put some other colour in this to make it look good. So we've got one there, and we'll probably do one more. So I've washed the brush, and I want to get another cloud, bit of a bum on it, bring it up there, bring something scooting off the painting there, pick up some more paint, and probably have some body of this coming up there off the painting like so. Now I've deliberately put whiter values within all that. Now we'll get this bum down, there we go. Now blend, where's my rag? Wipe as you go as you're blending. Okay, twist all of that. Give it turmoil, give it luster, give it love, give it everything. Bit of a bottom there, because when we put shadow in the bottom, it creates the illusion that these are going over your head. That's it. You don't have to overcomplicate that. I'm going to just show you from a distance how you blend so you can see everything. I'm blending, I've got my rag here, and I'm constantly doing that. That way I can control what to blend down, and I'm not picking up paint and transferring it somewhere else, okay? Oh, there's so many ways you can paint clouds. Now we're going to put the weather in it, but I want it to be bluey grey, so I'm getting some of this bluey grey that'll be a little bit different from the sky. Get some of this. So it's still got the blue in it, but it's grey. It's not just grey, okay? And we're going to put this weather in those clouds. Now, I want to get this from the bottom. This has got to be a different colour than the sky. See how it's a different colour than the sky? I've got to get all this from the bum like that, okay? I'm going to get all this within the cloud. I don't know if you can see the glistening on that cloud, but it's still wet, and it's going to blend very well. So I'm just finding where I want that, mainly along the bottom, and it's fingered in within the cloud. Now grab your blending brush and lightly, we'll get the bum going first and blending upwards into the cloud, and you want to sit all that, the edge of those greys, sit it within the cloud. Take your time, don't over push it. I want a bit more, I think that's looking a bit unrealistic, so let's come along here. Got to twist some of it to get rid of a lot of those stampy looks. There we go. This is a big brush, I could use a smaller one. And I'll quickly come to the other cloud because I've got my air conditioner on and it could be drying all this up. So coming to this cloud, I want to find the bottom, which is there, get some of this weather up in there, bit of a bottom up there. I'll do that bit first. Now I have gone and got myself a smaller blending brush. Message me on Facebook if you want me to send you some of the putter on a brush and blending brushes that I use. There we go, see how that's adding the weather and dimension within the cloud. We can probably put a little bit up in there, not too much. I had another base here somewhere. This cloud to me has gone on a lot better than the one on the left. There we go. I'll just see if I can distort some of that in a more loving way. When I put the yumminess in it, it will bring it home to the guru. The aircon's drying everything out quite well here today. All right, now I'll put the yumminess in, that'll fix them up. Now yumminess is just simply white on its own. Putting bits of yumminess in there and sit it down into that grey, leaving the vibrancy of it there. If you're a regular viewer, you've seen me do this a million times, and you can never be too complacent, because sometimes I've even thought I can paint that with my eyes shut, but you can always learn a thing or two from yourself. So this is just adding that extra, let's get something up in there and dividing that, that'll do. That's enough for this cloud. Sink that down, but leaving the glare there, okay? Just getting rid of those edged stampy lines within it. And you can see, you pause the video and look at that cloud and go back to before I put the yumminess on and pause it, and then look at the two differences. You'll see where I'm coming from. And we'll get some nice yumminess within here. There, sit it down, sit it down. It's just putting things forwards and back from each other. You can do this, I'm telling you now, you can do it. Practice. Practice, practice. That's how all the greats became great, with practice. They didn't go home and drink after the end of their sessions, whether it was a prize fighter or a musician or whoever. They went home and they still practiced some more. Commitment and determination. Yeah, I hope I didn't bugger this one up with too much yumminess. Yeah, that looks all right. They look like clouds, don't they? Right, now, I started from this end with the tape. Okay, just in case you don't know, when you're putting tape on something and you're doing it in sections, to pull it off, you always go from the end you started, and it'll keep pulling the overlapping section off. Now I want to pull the tape off and get rid of any ridge of paint there, okay? So get this off. And see, I didn't want to paint where I'm putting my land. You all know why. Now see here, I'm just going to get any ridge of paint and soften it down like that. Now there's no rush for painting, you can take your time. Now we've got a reasonably good sky there. I'm happy with that one. Now I've just masked up that edge of that bit of foliage we're going to have there, because I don't want this water going into that area where I'm going to paint that. I don't mind here. So we will get this craft paint again with just a little bit less retarder in it, just to prime up the bottom. Now we'll try and miss out the island bit, but if we get it in there, so be it. So push this all into your canvas. Now I'm going to see, that's why I've taped that up so I can just come off it. Now I'm just going to the sky there. I don't want a big bead of white paint right on the horizon line, so the blue's going to be rolling into a bead of white paint. I just want it barely touching. There we go. Now that's just going to make our water more waterified when we paint it on. I'll add just some of the normal craft white. I've got some normal craft white down there. I'll just put some of that where the island's going to be. Now I can kind of see where my island's going to be. So we'll start at the top and we'll get our cerulean and a bit of grey, not too much grey. We don't want it clashing with the sky. Get some on there. There we go. And let's put a bit of that in there as well. That's just the phthalo turquoise. There's just going to be a band of this colour way out in the distance, and then we'll bring the tropical looking colour down. So this is just, I'll go just a bit under the horizon line so I can see how my brush is working. Then we'll get right across the horizon line here to the sky. We've still got a white paint line there. Let's try and get rid of it. Trying to do it without taping it. You can dry everything if you want, and dry it and then tape it up. I want it lineal out there. Well, when I say the word lineal, I'm like meaning left and right laying flat. I'll get a bit more on there. Yeah, there's the temperament I want. Beautiful, good. Now where's my island? It's coming about here, so I don't need all of that blue paint there, for goodness me sakes, goodness me. Now I'm just going to wipe that brush and picking up me turquoise. Now that's quite dark. I'm going to add some of this craft white to it just to get the value that I'm after. Now we'll get this painted down here. Just come across, come to your land there, up there, up there. Get right into your corners there. Now we've got a darker value out there, that's what I was after. Let's grab some more of the phthalo turquoise, just so as we can probably dance. Get some on my brush. Where's my line about there? I want to kind of dance a bit of a dark beam along there. You know how they get them, and that's it. And probably just some spits and spats of darkness around here. Just like that. Wipe all the excess off there. And there we go. The water's done. Now we've got to do the... I'm just going to rub a lot of that off, because that's got to be like a sand colour if I can get it. Now I've got some of that white again, just to kind of prime this up a bit. Something like that, that'll do. Now if you want, you could have masked your area up like this. I've got to get some sand colour there now. I don't want to dry it because I want it to merge into the water. Okay, I'm just going to use a flat. I've got my craft white there. I'll probably get this much out of there, and we'll start mixing a bit of this yellow ochre into it to get my sand colour. And right next to that pole, that pinky looking colour, that's the Maples yellow. It's like a skin colour. I want to put some of that into it to get that tone through it, and then put more white. And I want it a lot lighter than what it is, but it looks like it's going to be too dark. That's the value I want, that'll do. We'll get this painted in. Paint it to the edge. Now here is on the other side, so from about this point and around, I'll blend it into the water. So from this point here, it can be a reasonably hard edge of the sandy island there. You'll see that's pretty wet. And then we'll get this. Once I've merged it, watch, I'll start merging it now, I could probably dry it to get this area more solid. Okay, so we're going to put it on and then just start. All that water colour is still wet. Let it come like that. Do bands. I'm going to do bands around like that. There we go. Pick up some more on the brush, and it's just softening. If anything, I'm using these brush strokes like that. Out there can be some wash, that's okay. Because it's very shallow here, very shallow. if we need be, we can grab some of the turquoise and pull it back. Now I'll dry that so as I can get the depth on it. Okay, now I want to come from here, and this colour here can stay as the wet sand, okay? So we'll bring that hard edge in like this somehow, just like that, all right? And we can kind of give it some nice hard edge up here. And with a bit of luck, I dried that enough. There we go. And then we'll come around, hang on, get the brush on the paint on the brush a bit better. I want to come around about here, sort of banding up. There we go. And I'll get at least all this area. Now, if this had all that white retarded paint under it, the way I'm going left and right stroking this now, it'll be ripping it up and you'll be pulling your hair out. That's why I leave things undone a bit here and there. But what I want to do is probably get maybe, I don't know, maybe some more there. Get those blobs out of it. Get some on my brush, dag. And see that bit I stuck out there? It's in cahoots with the horizon line. It's not going down or up. Now what I want to do here is get some water from here, just sort of, because see this is still wet sand in the water. I want to distinguish water coming over that. So I'm getting the most sharpest flat brush I can find, and just with some white, titanium white out of the tube, I want to try and create this bit of water there. I always stick my elbow in the paint, eh? I'll get a bit of rougher stuff coming along here. Rougher stuff, rougher stuff. Now I want to wipe it off the brush, boom, 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 boom. Wipe it off the brush and just scrumble that back into the water, like so, just minimally, not too much. Don't make a big white blob of it if you can help it. Practice what you preach, Ian. Come around and I'll get some more on the brush here, dag. I'll wipe it off the brush, and like I did there, scrumble that back into the water there. Now, when you're happy painting, whack your kettle on, it makes you even more happy. And when you're happy painting, you do a good painting. And when you've done a good painting, it's just full of so much bullshit, people love it. I'm sorry, I don't think my camera was on then. I'm just putting all this against the shoreline here. Keep it tight against the land and then scrumble it out into the water side of it. The side of this white stuff is always tight against the land. Well, it makes sense putting some here. I'll have a look. Yeah, just a little bit here and there, little pockets of it, I suppose. I hope for the best when I do that, because I just put it on, look through my monitor to see how it's looking, and it's okay. There, and probably a bit out here. Now what I want to do with this bit here, so it's not so bland and boring, we'll get some, I don't know, well look at that, see me brush. Make sure your brush is chiseled the way you want it before you hit your canvas. And we'll sort of come out here and I'll get some kind of water. Now where's my scrumbling brush? And I'll just kind of squash that. Oh, I did too much. So I'm going to have to get the watercolour and push that back. I did too much at a time there because it's dry, so bear with me. I'll just scrumble that into there. So we put a bit on there and then scrumble that. Yeah, see how it's washed it in there now? Maybe something there, just a bit at a time, bit at a time. Now I've got some of the white into that colour here, just tinted it up a bit, just so as I can get some, I don't know, values of other lighter values within there, just here and there, sort of following that shape. Now I want to get some dark just to sit a lot of that border down that we just put on there, okay? So for the dark, I've just grabbed that phthalo turquoise, inked it up a bit, get the most minutest line here. Leave bits left out to make up for the perspective of the lay of the water or whatnot. See, that line going up looks stupid. I'll have to fix that. This is just putting depth and sitting that down. And I want the slightest under some of this white here. Very, very tiny, minute. You don't want it too dark. Just mixing up some of that turquoise in the white, getting a very light colour. I want to try and just create the very skinny though, don't make them too fat. Bit of that tropical surface on top of the water there, you know, if I can get it happening. Yeah, see how that looks. Now we'll come over here and we'll pull this tape off, and then we can just finish it off by putting our trees there. We'll give it a bit of a dry just where it's kissing the painting. All right, I've got my forest green and I want to blackulate it so it's not black, it's greeny black. And we're just going to map in the actual, block all that in first, all right? So get it off your brush, come up here and get it all airy. Get it off your brush. Here it's coming down, you just past that water line, oh yes, and then into the water like that, and then it's going to hang. I want a bit of water left here. There we go, and now we can block all that in like so, and then once we've blocked all this in, we can dry it so as the other colour won't mud up on top of it. When you do things like this and you find that your paints are going like mud or vomit, it's because the underneath's not dry. So there's that line there, but we don't want to do it like that because that looks like snot. You want to give it some charisma, so we'll sort of come out here, give it a bit of a shadow on the ground there of that bit hanging out, and maybe there's some perspective shadow coming out. Oh, that's too solid. Perspective shadow coming out here as well. Now simple, we'll turn this into bullshit. We've got three colours. We've got the dark colour, we're going to put the medium, and then the highlight. So we'll get our forest green, we'll turn the lights on a little bit. cadmium yellow and forest green. And then we just work out where you want your lights and darks. I want a bit of, this is all the dark colour. You're going to leave some of the blacks, the actual black colour, we're going to leave some of that there as well. So I want all these dribbly bits there like that. Leave some of that black there. And what I think I'll do is I'll bring this bit in front of there, like it's spaying out like another bush coming down into the shadow. Now this colour here that I'm putting on, this one, this is the one you don't see much of, but it stands out when you start to highlight it. Let's try and get something onto our shadow there, all the way up here. There we go. I'll just tape it down there a little bit, but not too much. Now we'll dry that and we'll add the next colour. Okay, so the next colour is this, but with a lot more yellow. Now you'll see the difference in this pile to that pile. Now see I'm mixing on my brush, I'm brush mixing. Be sure to turn your brush over so it's thoroughly on the edge, on the flat, on the edge. So you're going like that as you're mixing, and you got no surprises in there, because you saw what happened to me before when I had a surprise in there. And now this one is lightly, bit of water, a little bit of water there, and then we'll start getting some of this spayed out. Now you don't want to do this over the whole darn lot, just in bits and pieces. See how I've done that bit there? Where are we? Now I'll do some of this scooting out from it, so it's probably a bit there, and then it's going to be dark here in between this and the other one, and it'll fade back. Load your brush up, and you want these as fine and sharp as buggery, and the better it'll look, okay? It can be dark down there. Spay it up, just make any shapes you want out of all this. You're not doing this over the whole lot. You're just doing it here and there. And this will just fade into that black. Fade, fade, fade. There we go. Now I've dried it, but see the bottom, we want to bring some of the darker green that's there in front of the shadow. Just something like that, maybe there, and maybe this bit here continuing down into the sand there. Then I'll quickly wash that brush and put that highlight colour on that bit to make it look like it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. So we're grabbing more cad yellow, and we'll start mixing that over here, and you'll see the difference in this value. You got that, that and that, see? Pretty easy, isn't it, eh? You can do it. And then we'll just subtly highlight that, very subtly. Give it a dry if you feel. Now I want some light coming right across here, so it's coming from there. See how airy and thin they are? Right across there. Put a little bit there, but not too much. How's that looking? That'll do it. A little bit stampy for my liking, but that'll do, that'll do. Now I want to broaden some of this down here. So if anything, I've got a band of high foliage here that's getting hit by light. Come from there, come from over here. Where are you going? Now I'm pretending to go over there, but I'm really coming down here. So that way I'm not going to end up with free fingery looking things in the plant. Alright, there we go. How's that look in the monitor? Yeah, that's kind of done what I wanted it to do. And we'll do a bit over here. Now, we don't want too much in there. We want to get a bit there, that'll do. And then mainly this spooting there. Spooting in there. I want to get something cutting that sky so it sits that sky back. Yeah, sit that sky back, Ian. I'm just mucking around with this bit of the shadow at the bottom here. I've just put some more, and I'll put more dark out there just so as I can get these bits coming down properly in front of that other shadow, just so as they look the part, because it was looking a bit not right. Coming there on top of those blacks, that's it. And I've solid that in a bit more because there was just a long line of dark there and it looked like I was following the side of the painting, which you don't want to do. There we go. Alright, I'll put a signature on here and then we'll whack a frame on it. Where's the tape? There it is. I'm going to try and get my autographs nice and tiny if I can, not a big thick thing. Now check out the links in the description below. This painting is for sale. Message me on Facebook if you want to purchase this or any others. There's a link to show you what paintings are available, and if any are sold, there's always good quality prints of them available as well. So do yourself a favour and get your hands on some Ianapolis artwork. I want to thank all my patrons who support my content every month. Very much appreciated. I want to thank you so much for your support. Okay, let's whack the frame on this. Now I'm telling you right now, beach pictures look good in frames with the white inner border. Look at that, that's not too shabby, eh? We've got distance, we've got lovely clouds. Let's have a look at those clouds. Look at them all the way up there, eh? Beautiful. We've got distance, we've got some water here and depth within our trees there on the edge of the painting, all right? And I know you can do that. Okay, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed that. If you do any renditions of this, be sure to add it onto my art group. If you're not a member, the links are in the description below. Request to become a member, message me on Facebook, tell me you saw me on YouTube. And if you like what you see here, you tell your friends, all right? But if you don't like what I'm doing on my channel, you tell everybody. Goodbye, good luck, and good on ya.